Hi guys, here we are with more curly plant, and for this lesson we're going to kind of compare uh, our rotation. This is our two times that we went over these two, but we're going to compare our rotation with our mirror and rotation, and then with our mirror and rotation with a base. And we're going to show you how it looks different, if you use two times, three times, four times, rotation. So all of these objects basically have the same parameters, except, either it's rotation or it's mirror and rotation or this, or it's two times, three times, four times. Well, and or. So rotation and this, rotation and this is the green, and so on, like a chart. Um, Mirror and rotation, here's mirror and rotation three times, and so on. And here's mirror and rotation with base three times right here. So let's just start with the two that we're kind of familiar with, these two up here. And I'm going to just, whoops, I accidentally hit something. I am going to just select those three. So I'll click, hold shift, and then hit control 1, just so you could see them better. I mean, it just doesn't do it justice when you're zoomed out. So here they are, and I'll just go into the two times. Zoom over so I could see the number. Let's go into the params just for the two times, and you'll see that it's basically the same for all of these. So going to params, and here's what we're using. And starting with the first tab, it's just rotation two times, and I decided to keep for all of these the range at 8 just to make it interesting, have lots of different size levels of everything. The count 20, I just kept it at 20. You could make it bigger. It's only going to go as big as your hexagon, because remember, I can't go to vector. Oh yeah, I can. Wow. Okay, great. We weren't able to do that in the last build, but I remember a long time ago we were able to. So I wonder if I can move this bar. No, can't move the bar, but if I hold my right mouse button and just don't touch the screen, just scroll around, I can. So that's still good. And I can still hit control 1. This is selected, I can still hit control 1. But I'm going to hit my and you can hit your plus and minus button while the params window's open. So that's kind of good. So at least we can move things around. You want to go between 3D and vector view because remember, I don't have the outside stitching. This tab up here, I don't have include outer and inner contours. Okay, so when you look at it in vector view, you do see your vector contour. You see it, that's your vector shape that this is based off of. But in 3D, you see the true picture, because of what you checked here and so on. So these are my settings. And remember, curly plant is always two layer. There's no single layers for curly plant. It's just too complicated. And, there's no effect. So rotation two times, range of 8, count of 20. Like I said, you can make it bigger. Wouldn't matter because I chose interior. Scale is 200. the seed I've been using on every one of these is 20, so that's your pattern. And again, this is 90 degrees, negative 90. Okay, and that's like the default. Remember, the default for Embird's source sector for symmetry is the bottom left. That can be changed. And since this is just a 2-time rotation, it's not the bottom left, it's the entire left. That's our source sector for symmetry. And remember, I can change this, but I left it at Embird's default for all of these. So, and then all the flowers are at 75% and the amount is 100%. So this is the size, and all the flowers are taken from the library. Glyphs from library, I like the roses. That's the only one I like. You can add more. No compression. I don't want this to be smaller, narrower at the bottom. I like it wide. I never use those. And then leaves. I'm using leaf number 2 on all of them. I haven't mentioned I haven't liked 5, 6, or 8. 7 is okay. And leaf length is 100%. Leaf width is 50 this time. So it's interesting that I chose 50. It might be because if I chose something wider, they might bang into each other or overlap. But all of them have this, and all of them have a curliness of 75%. And I gave the center line length to all of them for the leaves. And I've decided on 90% length. I do like it when it comes almost to the end, you know, of the tip. I don't want it going all the way to the tip because that would be too dense. So I left it at 90. And then, now remember, since we're doing rotation, we can choose a base, but on these first 2 columns, there's no base. So every one of these is not, says none for base. And this column has a base. It has 2 bases, and we'll get into that. I'll show you that when we get to it. The 2 bases are this and this flower. And you see the plants are going off of that. But I made this one smaller so that it does fit inside the flower. And you can choose it. I could have had this cross bigger, you know, so that it sticks up all the way up here and over here. It's just, you know, the sky's the limit. So I only chose 2 bases for this whole column. You see it down here, and they're all the same. This is inside. So that's going to be our basically our params for all of them. So the only thing that's going to change is this. When we go to mirror and rotation 2 times, we're just going to, it's going to say, instead of rotation 2 times, it's going to say mirror and rotation 2 times when we get to this one. And this one's going to be mirror and rotation 2 times, but it's going to have 2 bases. So this base, this will be selected, and this will be selected. Okay. For right now, this one is just simple rotation 2 times. I'll click done. And you can see, you know, it's not really something I would use. You know, when you get into the 3 times, then it starts to look prettier. Even though it's very simple, just this sector down here gets rotated. There's no mirroring. It's just this sector gets rotated. But before we go to the 3 times, then, like I said, this one, the params, give it a minute. Okay. That always freaks you out because you're like, wait a minute. But you sometimes have to give it a minute to change, especially since I have so many objects. So at any rate, this is the only thing that changed. It's mirror and rotation 2 times. So this is where the source sector is. This is Embird's default, the dark pink, and here it is down here. And of course I could change that, but I didn't. I left it down there. So what this means is, even though it's a 2 timer, right? It doesn't just take half of it, this whole side, because it's mirror and rotation. So you have to give it room to mirror and then rotate. So if we look up here, this is the source sector here. Okay, so it's not 1/2 of the circle, it's 1/4 of the circle. So that's the design, or so to speak, the source sector. So let's just look at it here. I wonder if I can drag. No, I can't. Oh, I was able to move this around without even holding my right mouse button. Interesting. Okay, so, but at any rate, let me click done for a minute, and I'll just pull down a guide instead of, so there and there. Okay, this is our source sector. Let's go back to the params. And let's hit Control 1 so we can see it better. So basically what's happening is Embird is just looking at this vector shape right here, and it's creating a design that fits this quadrant, this 1/4 of my hexagon. And then what it does with that is it first mirrors it. See the arrow? This arrow points up. It mirrors it up here. And then you could see they're mirrored. This and this are the same. These are mirrored. Okay. And then it's rotated. And it's so interesting because what makes this one different than this one is that because it's mirrored first, when you rotate it, this is down here and this is up here, but it also looks like it's mirrored over to the right. That's only because it's first mirrored and then rotated. So cool, so cool. So that's mirror and rotation 2 times. And then let's go to the base now. So now let's learn about the base. Okay, now I have to hold my right mouse to move this over. Okay. So if you look at the two, they are different. They kind of look the same. They got these coming in, you have this here, but you always get something different. So let's look at the params on this. So it's the same idea. Let me take a quadrant here. Oops. A guideline, I mean. Okay. So give it a minute to change. Oh, no, it is mirror and rotation 2 times. So it's still mirror and rotation. And like I said, well, we can't see this 2 times over here. I don't want to zoom out too much because then you lose the beauty of it. But this time, everything's the same. All our params are the same. except this time we filled in the base. So the first base that I chose was this one. I just like how it's got this little circle here, and this is it right here. So that basically just goes in your at your origin point. And this is what's cool about it. If you don't specify your origin point, then your origin point is the center of your vector object. So the center of my hexagon is right here. So they put my base in that center. But I could have did edit, over here, and right clicked while I was in edit and said place origin point down here or down here, anywhere. But I just left it. I didn't choose an origin point, so the center is my origin point. And I believe this is the default of 35%. I'm not sure, but so I just left it for the size of this base because I wanted it to be smaller than my next base that I choose. Now the base width, I haven't played with this. I'm leaving them all at 100%. If I click on this, I could go up to 150, but I just left it, so that's something you can play with. I don't know if they mean like these, would get wider, probably, because that's how they're showing these arrows. It's like the actual base itself kind of gets wider. I could test it right now, and if I remember by the time I'm done explaining, I will test it. But for right now, I'm going to leave it at 100. And so then this one's at 35%. And like I said, this next one I chose, I chose this one. So I chose 20 to go inside at 35%. No, I don't think I chose 23. Did I choose 18? Let me see. Yeah, I chose 18. So I chose these two, and I chose this one to be a little slightly bigger at 50. So it's slightly bigger, and it just looks real pleasing. And then again, the width is at 100. And then I could have added more bases, but I didn't. And you could see Embird just nicely makes them slightly bigger. So that's one thing you don't have to guess about. The first one, you could choose your smallest one, then you could choose your biggest one, then the next biggest, and so on. Or you can completely change them, make them all the same or what have you. So they do leave, take away some of that complexity of, decision making out for you. And then off the bases is where your plants generate from the base. And you could see it's not generating off this little base because this one is blocking it, Maybe if this wasn't blocking this, I'm assuming all the bases are closed shapes, but I have seen it where it'll say if I made this one longer, this cross, they would generate off this base, this flower base, and off the cross over, as it sticks out. So it's just mind-blowing, just the things you can do. So like I said, before I leave it, I'll go ahead and change the width. So the width is at 100 on this cross. Let's click here and let's go to 150. And I'll hit enter just once. And I'll click apply and let's see what happens to this. Oh, that is so interesting. Okay, the whole design changed, but this did not get wider. It got narrower, and this flower got smaller. Interesting. I wonder if it's because I made it so small. See, I didn't expect that. So I'm going to go back to 100 and see if I get back to the original design that I made. Let's see. Yeah, I don't like that. Okay, I think it's the same. I think it's the same. That is so interesting that it actually got narrower, like this part. Too bad I have these on it, because we can't see the beauty of it, but I wanted you to see. So before I leave it, that was the whole point, sorry. I wanted you to see that, it's mirror and rotation 2 times. Go to options, okay? So it's just like this one. This is our sector that's emanating off of our base, okay? This sector, it's just the flowers and leaves, not the base. The base goes in, the center as is. But this part gets mirrored up, just like before, pink to pink, and then it gets rotated over. Very pretty. So let's click done. And let's go to the 3 times. So you notice that the 3 times is prettier just with the rotation. It's more symmetrical. Let's give it a minute. Okay, rotation 3 times. Okay, there's no mirroring on this one, so it actually does do 1/3 of your vector shape as your source sector for symmetry. See how it's just 1/3? If it were mirror and rotation like this one, it wouldn't be 1/3. This 1/3 would be cut in half. 1/6 would be your source sector, and you'll see that in a minute when we get to this one. But this one, it's taking the entire 1/3 and rotating it around. And so, like I said, let's see if I could get them both in. If I go to this one, give it a minute to change. So it's mirror and rotation 3 times. So now see, your sector is not this whole 1/3, it's half of 1/3, which is 1/6. See, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is your source sector for symmetry. And if you're confused on what it is, you just look down here. There it is. So this gets mirrored over to this. That creates your 1/3. Let's look up here. This dark pink right here gets mirrored up to here, the light pink. Okay. And together they create your 1/3. And then that 1/3 gets rotated here. Okay. And then here. And that's very pretty. Sometimes you want something that's very simple. And, if I would have made my maximum sprout generations really small, I could make this even simpler. You can see I have a little bit of overlap, but I always like to change one thing at a time. So Let's say I wanted to make this real simple. Okay, let's keep everything as is with the leaves, the leaf width, and let's make our count. See, a maximum of 20, there's definitely not 20 sprouts. I mean, if I can count coming off the origin, I don't know, I'm still kind of not that great at it. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. So let's do a maximum count of 3 and see if it, what happens. Everything else will be the same. Okay, so you see it doesn't come out as far. I still have some overlap. Okay, it is a little bit simpler. You may not want a size level range of 8 because maybe these are too big and these are too small. Let's go ahead while this is up then. Like I said, I like to do one thing at a time. And let's make this like 80 just to see. So we went from 50 to 80. And I'll click apply. Sometimes I don't like it when these are look solid, the small ones. And you could, again, you could change that effect. Okay, there it is. It's overlapping there, but that doesn't look bad. I could see a little bit more definition there. That doesn't look bad that it's overlapping there. And then maybe like, again, if I don't like this drastic difference in flowers, I could try a different range, cut it in half, and just see what happens. So it's going to be the flowers and the leaves. Okay, and I have noticed that when I shoot down the range, I get less leaves and more flowers. I've noticed that, which is so interesting. So let's go up to 6. Oh my God, that is gorgeous. That is gorgeous. Hello, I love that. Even though these are big and these are small, technically I could convert this mesh to outlines and delete these small ones if I wanted, but they look cute. This is adorable. Oh my gosh. I could do a quilt in the hoop with this even though it's a double layer, double run, because quilting is usually single run, but it is adorable. And there's not even a base. This almost looks like it's a base, but there's no base. And I can see all the center lines. So this is a range of 6, only a count of 3. Let's see if I brought the, I don't even want to get rid of this. I love it too much. Let me look at the settings here. So the only thing we changed was range of 6, count of 3, and width of 80%. Unbelievably gorgeous. Yes, there is a little bit of overlap there. What if I would have tried a 60? I don't think 60 would get rid of this. Okay, I did get rid of the overlap up there. So I went to 60 instead of 80. So I'm at 60% leaf width. Everything else is the same. Flowers are the same. My count is 3 and my range is 6. I'll never remember this. It's really cute though. Really cute. So I'm keeping my leaves, So if you recall, when I went down to a range of 4, I lost a lot of the leaves. And the leaves just make it, they just make it. So I'm gonna go back because like I said, I wanted this video to be everything be exactly the same. 8. Oh wait, let's keep it at 6. I did want to try something before I go. Let's just try a count at 2 and make it even simpler. Because sometimes you do want a very simple curly plant. Especially if you're quilting in the hoop, If you do that, I do that. So let's just click apply. Remember, I've got range of 6. The only thing I changed was count at 2. My leaves are at 60. Did it just change? I don't know. I don't know if it did or not. Maximum sprout is a count of 2. 1, 2. It's almost like there's 3. Interesting. Let's just see. I love seed 20. And I've also noticed seed 24 is really pretty. Okay, that's really cute. Very simple. Count of 1. So the leaves kind of took over. Hey guys, I am interrupting the video because I just had a light bulb moment. You may notice that throughout this series, I keep getting mixed up as to when do I lose my leaves and have like all flowers, or when do I lose my flowers and have all leaves, and I was all muddled about that. Well, I just had a light bulb moment. Do you see how range and count, are right next to each other? I think that's why I was getting muddled. I think, this is my theory now, that if you go down in count, the leaves take over. If you go down in range, the flowers take over. So what kind of mnemonic device can I make to make me remember that? Anyways, this is just a theory. So, as you watch through the video, and you may see different parts where I do get muddled, and I'm like, wow, I can't remember. Remember this. Remember this interruption here. Okay, guys, back to the video. Very cute. Very cute. And if you want to leave it at the count of 1, but maybe you want more flowers. My flowers already are at amount 100%. And for leaves, it's interesting. They don't give you an amount. Okay. So, and I don't believe, yeah, you can't go up any higher than 100%. You could try and change the scale. Oh, I don't like that. So it's keeping the same pattern. And of course, you could try a different seed, down here. So let's go back to how it was. Count was 20. My range was 8. Flowers were 75. I don't know how I'm remembering this. My leaves were at 50. I like them at 60 though, to be honest, but that's okay. But that was because I think I went down to 50 so I wouldn't have a lot of overlap due to my other params and so on, you know, range of 8 and everything. So that's what it was. And sometimes I think, well, I could just hit cancel and then it'll just go back to what it was. Now, is this how it was? I don't know. I don't even remember. So remember, this is mirror and rotation 3 times. So this 1/6 gets mirrored, and then this 1/3 gets rotated here, and then here. Okay. Let's see if I hit cancel, if it goes back. I remember a while ago cancel wasn't working. Let's just see. Okay. Well, you have to look back in the video to see if we got the exact same one. So now, remember, the params are exactly the same between this one and this one, except this one has 2 bases. And remember, in 3D, the vector is not showing. That is so gorgeous. So gorgeous. I hate to zoom out, but I do want to try to get them all in. Yeah, because I can maybe, I think if I move this, let's see, were they letting us? Okay, yeah, they are now. They are letting us. Okay. But still, when the params window comes open, it blocks this. I've noticed now, let's see if I click on this one and open the params, I thought it was right here that it comes to, but I don't know, is the params going to shrink? No, it doesn't. See, it comes kind of right there. So I'll zoom out and I'll just move this. Darn it. I wanted to be able to see it better. Okay. So, mirror and rotation 3 times. And again, we have the same base, 35% on this one and 50% on the flower. Now, like I said, if we wanted to have this stick out so you could see that like the flowers will also generate off the part that's sticking up, let's make this one bigger than 50. Let's go to like 100%. Looks like you can go to 150 on that. So that's just on the base size. We're not going to mess with the width because I didn't like what that did. And I'm still a little confused about it, why it made it narrower when I made the width 150. So yeah, so let's just see what happens here. So the well, they're not crosses anymore. They're okay. Very cute. So it's sticking out, and it's, if I go into vector view, you know, it's going to the end of the vector shape because remember, we have interior chosen. I'm at 90 degrees, so this is my, so we're at 3 times, so this is my 1/6, these little flowers and leaves, and this gets mirrored over. Okay, I love how this is wider here. It is so cute. So this gets mirrored to here, and then that 1/3, because we're still at 3 times, gets rotated here and then here. I'm trying to just kind of go over just the flowers and leaves, you know, because remember, your bases just go where your origin point is. That is so beautiful. So the only thing I changed was I made this base 100%. So it is kind of cool when you first start playing with it. If you choose a base that's, skinny, let's look at them like any of these. If you choose one of these or even this one and then choose that along with a flower or this one or, then you really get some really cool looking, sprouts coming off of it because they kind of go together. Something that's pointy and thin with a flower. Make them different sizes. This one here, I don't know, it's so complicated. I guess you could put this same one with this one and see what it does. It would be kind of cool. So like, we'll leave that at 100. We'll come down here and make this one 32. So we'll leave it still at the 50, and then this one will be at 100. We'll click apply. Okay. So there it is in the center. And then there it is up there. I just like the other one better. I mean, I guess this has its place. And let's just see something. What if we went to a count of 3? Just to see what happens. Leaving the range at 8 instead of 6. See if I could how it simplifies what it looks like. Okay. It's still, filling it out and everything, so I'll just right click. It's not real simple. Yeah, I'm not crazy about that center base. I mean, it's okay. Yeah, nothing much is changing. So it's basically telling you you have 2 sprouts. 2 sprouts fills out the whole vector object. Let's see what 1 sprout does. It actually looks like it's just 1 sprout. Yeah, this is just 1 sprout coming off of this long. Since this juts out so much, there's only enough room for 1 sprout. So you can do 0. So then this shouldn't have anything on it, you would think. But then you wouldn't have any flowers either. You would just have the bases, I think, but I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, just the bases. I don't like that base. So I'm going to go back to how it was. Remember now. Count of 20. I really like this base being long like that, but I'll go back to the 35. Whoops, I just moved it. It just backspace 35, enter, since I'm in that field. And then I'll go back to 18 and 20. 18. Okay, that should take me back to what it was originally. That is cute. Very cute. And what's interesting is if you choose a third base on, say, this one, I don't know what you would choose to maybe make it, maybe a circle. I don't know. But then what size would I make the circle? I'd probably make it bigger than the flower. Or you could have another flower that's bigger than the flower. I don't know how this would look because these diamonds are at the tip instead of here. Oh, that would be cool. I have to try it. So it's at 65 instead of the 50 before it. Let's just see. This is so addicting. Okay, let's see. Okay, I don't like it too much. I could see it, here, but yeah, I don't like it. This is actually a hexagon and it's in a different rotation than our hexagon. That would be interesting. Let's see what that does. Okay. So you could see, now this is interesting because on this one, even though this is closed, there was enough room in here to generate off of this one. But Embird chose not to generate off of this one, you know, on all of these that I just tried here. And I'm glad that Embird chose not to generate off of here. It'd be too small, it would look terrible. But in this case, it's kind of cool that it chose to generate off of this one. So let's see, here's your 1/6 right here, just these sprouts. They get mirrored over here. Okay. And then that 1/3 gets rotated up here. Kind of follow the vertices. One rotation, and then here's the third rotation here. So that's interesting. And again, the amount of flowers is at 100%. You may want more flowers. And wasn't it where if we took our range down to 6, we got more flowers, I think. Let's just see. Because there's really not enough flowers on that. Okay. But their size, the range is 6. I mean, we got them on the outside, but we still didn't get them on the inside. Interesting. So all the size levels changed. And then if we brought the scale down to, say, 60, enter, maybe we'd get more flowers because they'd be smaller. I don't know. No, they stayed in exactly the same spot, but it looks better, I think, with them at 60. So let's go back to, was it 75? Go back to all of our params. Let's say none for the base. Base 3. Base 2. And, okay, those are the same. Let's go with our range of 8, enter 1, since I clicked on a button, count 2. That should take us back to the original. Okay, that's pretty. That really is very pretty. Sometimes the less amount of bases, the better, but you know, you might want a different look. So I'll hit done. Let's go to 4 times. I'll just hit Control 1. I'm going to use my minus button to zoom out. Now, with 4 times, it should be kind of easy for you to figure out what's going on this by this time. Maybe not. This is just the rotation. So it took a quarter. It's just rotation. It actually takes the 1/4. So this right here gets rotated around. And then the rotation in mirror, it's not the 1/4, that's our source sector, but it's half of that, which is 1/8. So this right here is our source sector. And then this 1/8 gets mirrored over to this 1/8. And then together, it gets rotated because it's a 4-time rotation. It just gets mirrored first. Mirror, and then rotate it here, here, and here. And then going to the base, okay. Okay, we'll hit params. Okay, I'll zoom in a little with my plus sign, minus sign, just to compare these two. So mirror rotation 4 times. You could see the 1/8 here in dark pink. And then these together are rotated here. Here's the greens, the yellows, and the greens again. They kind of use a light and a dark. I know these greens are hard to tell between the light and the dark, but the yellows you can tell and the pinks you can tell. So, and you know, it's getting a little more complicated now. A little more tighter and busier, and trying to think of what I would want to change here. We can go ahead and try to change like what we've changed before. So let's try a count. Well, let's see how many we think are sprouting off. 1, 2. Sometimes I don't know if this and the flower is considered one sprout, or if this is a sprout and this is a sprout. So then together it's 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure. Let's just try a 3 and see if that changes it. And hit apply. So that's the only thing we'll change. It's probably going to change it anyways. You know, yeah, it does. Oh, I did the wrong thing. I changed the size level, sorry. But you know, that's something too. I don't really like it, but we'll leave the size levels at 8. I meant to change this to 3, sprout generations. Now I don't have the other one to compare. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, maybe, yeah, maybe these are separate. 1, 2, 3. Let's try 2. Okay, I still have what looks like 3 here. So, see, I don't know. Maybe this isn't cut in stone. Maybe that's it. It is a little simpler. Let's try 1. And it looks like when you make your sprout generations less and make it simple like this, oh, that's kind of cute. You can make your leaves width wider. So let's go back to 2 and let's make our leaf width back up to 80 and just see what happens. I know I changed 2 variables, so now it's hard to remember what that original one was. Okay, that's kind of cute. You know, with these a little bit wider, just a little bit. They're not banging into each other because, you know, we have our maximum sprout at 2 as opposed to, let's see what it did at 3. I think it almost stayed the same. And then we'll try it at 20 and see what happens. Yeah, 3 got more. So maybe it's, because remember, let's just start down here instead of over here. This is the sector. So my maximum sprout is 3. Are they counting like this and this? 1, 2, and then a third one? Or are they counting 1, 2, 3? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I can't. But that is cute. So you have no fear of it banging into each other. And remember, if we take our range down to 6, this is just mind-blowing. Interesting. But if we put the amount of flowers not at 100, but say at 50, and had the same thing, a range of 4, so now we should have less flowers because it's at 50 instead of 100. Does that bring our leaves back? Oh, that is interesting. Very cute. I really like that. I mean, but we've got some banging into each other here. My leaf width is at 80. I don't know if 60 is going to do anything. My flower scale, I could try 60, but I only want to change one thing at a time, remember. So the only thing I changed was my leaf scale from 80 to 60. Let's just see what that does. You would think you'd get the same pattern. Yeah, but it's not banging in as much. Let's see. There's a little bit of overlap. Keeping my eye right here. Okay, not much changed. So in that case, let's make this 60. So I'm just kind of looking right here to see if I can get rid of the overlap. So that's better. They're not overlapping. So you kind of get the idea, you know. Interesting. That is really cute. So on this one, my flowers are less. My scale is 60. It's less. It was 75. This was 100. My range is 4. And if you recall, when I came down in range, I lost a lot of my leaves, most of them. Okay, I'm still keeping my count at 3. And it's kind of also interesting that, remember, this is the sector down here. We're not changing the sector, source sector. This, okay, honey, 1 second. My dog, she wants a treat. Okay, 1 minute. I'm going to forget my train of thought. Come here. Come here. Okay, shh. This is this is filling out its, its sector. This design is filling it out nicely. And remember, when it goes to mirror and rotate, it doesn't pay attention to the vector anymore. It just pays attention to this part of the vector shape when it makes its first source design, okay? And then this mirrors, so yeah, this is going over, but oh well, Embird doesn't follow this anymore. It's just taking this, mirroring it, and then taking the 2 and rotating, rotate, rotate. So this time I'm gonna hit cancel and see if I go back to my original design, because my dog made me forget it. It does kind of look like I did, I think. Let's go back into params and see if it went back. Yeah, let's see. Count 20, range 8. Yeah, yes, yes. So it did. So cancel is working now. So I'll just hit done. So that just blows me away. Just so many options, so many options. And then the last row, I'll hold my right mouse just to drag this over, is 6 times. So with 6-time rotation, okay, you've got, I can't bring down a horizontal, but I can kind of bring it down and then try to get it in the center there. Okay, I'll just look at this one. And then I can right click. I believe you have to select it and then right click. Okay. If I rotate it from this horizontal 30 degrees, so this halfway mark, remember this is a 60 degree, but if you're going from half of this line to the vertex, it's only 30 degrees. If I rotate that 30 degrees, oh, I have to move it in place. Okay, you can see you have to have the when you right click, you have to be on the center. You have to be on your rotation center. So I rotated it 30 degrees, moved it back, and then let's select it. And if I flip it, let's duplicate it. Okay, and then select it and let's see. Select, whoops. I messed up. I moved them both. Okay, well, let's just, it's selected. Let's flip it. Did it again. I didn't have it in the center. I didn't have my mouse in the center. Okay. So there you can see, yeah, these are my 1/6 of it. You know, it's the vertex to vertex. But the source sector, because we're on mirror, this column is mirror and rotation. The source sector is half of that. So the source sector is here, the 12th. So it'd be this little piece here gets mirrored over. And then that then gets rotated here. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's no base on this one. So let's take a look at it. Just so that we could see. And here it is here. So let's hit Control 1 just to bring it into view. So this dark pink is really narrow, 1/12, not 1/6. It's 1/12 of this hexagon that gets mirrored to here, and then those get rotated 6 times. Well, 5 times, you know, because this one's already here. And so let's now go to this one with the base. Same thing. This little piece here got mirrored, and then this 1/6 got rotated. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's really cute. It's kind of simplified too. Let me give her her treat. She's sitting here so patiently.